What it do, YouTube, man? It's your boy LT, and we're back with another video, man. And today, bro, we got a sweet video, man. We got the greatest small forward to ever do it. Is it Larry Bird or is it LeBron James? This is an argument that I don't even feel like is an argument. A lot of people say it depends on what era you put them in, but with the rules set today, do you really think it will be harder for Larry Bird or would it be easier? You can't touch me. You know, three, bang, got it. You see what I'm saying? The three ball is more utilized now than it's ever been used in the NBA. So, of course, Larry Bird's three game is very good. Out of the two, when it comes to the assist game, you got to give it to Larry Bird. Yes, LeBron James is a better physical specimen when it comes to, you know, speed, height, vertical, stuff like that. Yes, LeBron James beat it all day. But when it comes to IQ and just being able to lead a team, which one do you want? Of course, you pick Larry Bird. Now, I've heard rhythms and patterns of, well, you know, LeBron James is more clutch because they didn't really pay attention. Like, there's no analytics from back then on just, you know, the clutch shot. They didn't really pay attention to it. But as many game winners I've seen Larry Bird finish off, how can that even be an obvious? We've seen LeBron James choke against the Spurs when it came down to the wire. We've seen him choke against the Dallas Mavericks. We've seen him choke time and time again. If he didn't have Kyrie, he would have lost to the Warriors. But that's not the problem, man. We're going to get into this video. I ain't going to treat y'all all day. But, man, make sure y'all leave me a like, subscribe to that channel. Make sure you turn your notifications on. And leave me some comments and let me know some more videos y'all guys want me to check out. But let's get into this. Why not press play? Oh. I was about to say.
Larry Bird at his best, LeBron James at his best.
There we go.
And do we have to put the teams too, or just?
Hey, low key, he got them. Oh yeah, he got them Jordans on. Yeah, the Chicago ones.
Players.
I don't
If
think
there's
they're
a
lows
draft.
either. They look like
Oh my
highs.
God!
You can take Bird or LeBron. So let's say I take Larry at this age when I think he averaged 30, 10, and 7, something like that, and LeBron right now. So you got Larry Legend
Okay.
or
Now,
LeBron.
what rules are we playing to?
We're playing today's rules.
Oh, I gotta go with Larry Joe. I gotta go with Larry Joe. In today's rules, you can't touch him.
Yeah.
And Larry, so this is 27, 28-year-old Larry and 27, 28-year-old LeBron,
Yeah.
right? Or is he 30 now, right? 30.
Yeah.
So 30-year-old Larry, 30-year-old LeBron.
Okay, give me Bird's stats at 30, Paulie.
At 30.
Because that was an MVP season, I think.
Yeah. Wow. 30 points a game, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block.
So yeah,
can I answer
we're
that?
gonna go ahead and up that point percentage. We're gonna say he averaged 40 that year if he played today's game. We're gonna say he averaged 40 points. I'm gonna say 11 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 blocks. In today's game, I'm gonna drop his blocks. He probably went down to 1 block because, you know, just the you can't touch him rule. So we're gonna go ahead and get that. Yeah, you got to pick Larry Bird over that. That's just common sense.
Larry Joe.
Yeah. So
Larry
if he
Joe.
averaged 30 back then, you take Larry Joe.
Yes.
Larry Joe for the win.
I know where we're going with this.
Is he in your top 10?
Yeah, he's in my top.
Is he ahead of Larry? Because you got a strange top 10. Hold on, is he
Man, my
ahead of
headset
Larry
backwards.
Bird?
No.
Skip, Reggie would take Bird over LeBron. Do you concur, my friend?
Stephen A. Smith, I do concur. I do agree.
I can understand how some people. Larry Bird was better than most people think. And so make your argument for Bird.
In a hypothetical draft, that's what they started off with. I'll take it at any age. You can do it at 18 or 22 or 26, 28, or as they finally concluded at age 30. I'm going to take Larry Bird just a little bit over
got it.
LeBron James.
Got Dennis
Now,
Rodman
you
looking
can
stupid.
argue, oh, LeBron is such a superior athlete, and I will not argue back. But as an all-around basketball player, as a leader, and especially as a clutch shooting difference maker, I'm all about Larry Bird. He was a bad boy. For those of us, those in the audience who are just too young to know, bad boy.
Bird's a better shooter. It's not close. I think Bird is as good or better as a passer.
We do
Bird's
know-
a better rebounder.
Better shooter from LeBron at any distance.
Facts.
As for the outside shooting, this isn't really close. And the only reason his three-point numbers
Give me that
are
one.
gaudier is the simple fact that hardly any threes were taken back then. much less practiced. And yet Bird still shot over 40% 5 times, including 2 50-40-90 seasons.
Bird was not just a superior shooter from anywhere on the court, just like you highlighted. Not only was he a near 90% shooter from the free throw line, which LeBron could never brag about, but
90%.
also Larry Bird was missing.
90% from the free throw line is absolute, bro. Like, I don't even think anybody's ever got that good. Is there any other shooters that y'all know of, that free throw shooters that averaged about 90% from the free throw line? I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Maybe if I sit there and thought about it, I could, but right now I can't.
When the game was on the line, you knew that the ball was going in Larry Bird's hands, and there was little to nothing that you could do to stop him because he was that much of a marksman. Marksman of the highest order, one of the most lethal marksmen we've ever seen in the game's history.
Three-point shooting, percentage, whatever you want to do, and especially from the free throw line where he often led the league in free throw percentage, did Larry Bird.
Bird was consistently among the best free throw shooters each season, while LeBron's best year at the line was still 6 points lower than Bird's worst year.
Boy, hey, when I saw this clip before, bro, it was on Comedy Central, bro. When I first saw this, bro, it had me dying, bro, because it was just like, that's how Larry shoot too. It's like he's not even looking at the basket, bro. It's in there. It's in there. Look at him.
Overall field goal percentages are remarkably similar, but as we showed earlier, LeBron does the vast majority of his damage near the rim, where Larry was able to match the field goal percentage by taking many more shots from outside.
LeBron's physical, if not athletic ability is a gift. Larry's IQ and basketball competitiveness is uncanny. Like,
it's out of this
Larry's
world.
ability to make tough shots.
Better rebounder, clearly just a little bigger, had a little more better knack under the basket for acquiring rebounds, a la Dennis Rodman as a below-the-rim 6'9" rebounder.
He's not in Bird's league when it comes to passing.
Larry Bird was a better passer, in my mind, a much more fluid, much more natural passer than LeBron James, a creative passer.
Because Larry Bird had the passing gift. And then we come to defense.
If you look at defensive win shares, Larry Bird actually ranks ahead of LeBron James by 1 spot. And that's because all of his basketball genius we saw on the offensive end translated to the defensive side of the ball as well.
He was so long.
And when he was young and healthy,
Snatch, give me that.
He made some plays that just might remind you of some of the things we saw LeBron do. His quick hands allowed him to strip the ball, and in fact, he averaged the same amount of steals per game that LeBron does now.
Larry Bird, as you know, Stephen A., could wreak havoc on defense to the point that he often led LeBron in the steals category. So I'm going to give Larry a slight balancing edge there. Then we get to leadership, intangibles. They spilled over from Larry Bird, as you well know, because you're old enough to have covered him, which is why Larry Bird has 3 rings, lost 2 finals, no shame there, to Magic, Kareem, Worthy, Byron Scott, Michael Cooper, all the rest.
But do you see that? Like, and a lot of young kids don't understand. In the 80s and 90s, teams had not just one good player. They had 4 or 5. Every team did. Every team. Not the Warriors just having 5 good players. Not just the Clippers having 5. Not the Brooklyn Nets just having 3. Everybody showed up. A lot of teams have 1 superstar, possibly. Some teams don't even have that. But in the 80s and 90s, every team had at least 3 superstars that that could come out and put up 30 points a night. But, I guess the argument is people just don't want to realize just how different the game was. The game is just so different.
I take him over LeBron James to start my franchise? Yes, I would. And I don't think it's even close.
One area Larry was far superior in was his use of the left hand. There were sections of whole games where he'd only shoot with his offhand, and he had such control and touch with it, you'd never know exactly how to guard him once he got within 10 feet of the basket. I can't think of another player who used his ability to score with his offhand as often as Bird did, And even 25 years later, these are still the most impressive of his highlights, something LeBron cannot do.
Well, let me say this. I think that LeBron James is a superior athlete. I think for the first 45 to 46 minutes of a game, I don't know if there's anybody in the world that you can pick over LeBron James because he's a freak of nature, a physical freak of nature.
Facts, I can do
being
that.
the fact that he's 6'8", 250 pounds, locomotive coming at you.
Larry definitely had more skill, while LeBron brought more physical gifts.
But there's no way on earth that I'd pick him over Larry Bird in the clutch. I can tell you that much.
And that brings us to clutch performance. Those moments when everyone in the building knows who's getting the ball, and as that clock winds down, do you have the clutch gene to nail the shot?
When it comes down to the end of a game in a championship series, I would rather have Larry Bird have the basketball.
Facts.
While we don't have the advanced stats from Bird's...
On my channel alone, how many times have we seen Larry Bird, 2-3 seconds left on the clock, he finishes somebody off with a dagger from deep, or a fall away from in the mid range? How many times have we done seen him?
Era,
Too many.
We're going to have to use anecdotal evidence to show that time and again, the Celtics went to him in the waning seconds of the game, and it was a rare occasion when he didn't come through for them. At the very least, there was never ever a time when Bird was afraid to shoot the ball in those pressure situations.
One-legged. Baga.
He would inevitably find some way to get open.
Over you.
Remember, they would hardly ever run a straight isolation out top and have him create off the dribble. Bird would flash open, find some sort of sliver of daylight, and get the jumper off. Again, these were moments when going to the basket wasn't preferable because the referees would definitely let the players decide these games. Foul calls were hard to come by. So it made more sense to do your best to get off a clean look from the outside. And Larry Bird was as good as anyone in this era with his knack for being in the right place at the right time, dropping in shots from all angles and degree of difficulty. LeBron's clutchiness is a bit more complicated.
Got it.
There have been a few times where he hasn't been the man down the stretch, and it has opened him up to quite a bit of criticism for not being that clutch player. Mark Stein wrote an article on ESPN.com about this, and with the help of advanced analytics and play-by-play data, we can quantify how LeBron has shot when attempting a tying or go-ahead shot in the final 5 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime. As of March 1st of this year, he was a very mortal 5 for 47, or 10.6% over the past 10 seasons, whereas the league average on these shots is 22.7%.
An intangible about winning. It is something that LeBron James took years to learn, even though he deserves to be respected and that should not be held against him. What's undeniable, Skip, is that Larry Bird, whatever intangibles LeBron James strived to develop and ultimately did to some degree, but is still working on in terms of its completion, Larry Bird walked into the NBA with that attitude. He walked into the NBA with that gift. And there was an accountability factor that came with being on the floor with Larry Bird because there was a certain level of excellence that was expected, and there was a certain level of dereliction of duty that would not be tolerated. We've seen LeBron James tolerate a lot of things throughout the years, trying to fit in, trying to get along, trying to be that, what he thought a leader was supposed to be. Larry Bird never paid any attention to any of that. He was Larry Bird. And he came in there with a level of greatness coming from Indiana State, and he put the basketball world on notice that he was going to be a legend and he was going to be a winner. And anybody that played with him had damn well better adopt that attitude, or they were not going to be wearing the same uniform as him.
Facts.
That was Larry Bird. And we haven't seen that really from LeBron James, to be quite honest with you. So
I've seen it lately.
In terms of leadership, in terms of...
I'm going to give LeBron that. I have seen it lately. Like, I feel like now he's gotten the understanding of, this is my team. I need to be the star. If y'all don't like it, then, change teams, switch teams, get the hell out of here. I don't care. I've seen it lately, but it wasn't always like that.
Clutch, in terms of shooting ability and overall championship credentials, not just trophies, but a mentality. Larry Bird gets the nod over LeBron James, but you still can't dismiss the greatness of LeBron James.
Yes,
LeBron can be great, but he needs that other guy to sometime to carry him. He needs the Kyrie Irving to make the shots down the stretch. Okay? He's incredible in a Magic Johnson sort of way in that he makes generally.
I've always said that LeBron James is more closer to Magic Johnson than he is to any other player. And it's not just on skill base. Look, I want you to understand, Magic Johnson was very talented at all 5 positions. LeBron is very talented at all 5 positions. Could LeBron not? I mean, Magic couldn't finish down the stretch a lot of times. That's why he had Kareem and what's the name to finish. You see what I'm saying? He had other players to finish. And it's not a knock on Magic or LeBron. It's just saying some players don't need you to close for them. Michael Jordan and Larry don't need you to close for them. They close the door themselves. They want you to feel the pain. They want you to know I came out and gave you 40, and you still tied the game, so I went ahead and gave you 57 because you didn't know how to act. You see what I'm saying?
He makes others better.
Let's all just agree the Bird's better.
Bird's better.
Because it annoys LeBron fans.
I must admit, I am shocked that you're not defending LeBron a little harder because I anticipated you would.
I can't.
No?
Money time, whether it's a particular juncture in the season where you're trying to position yourself for the playoffs, or you're talking about the last minutes of a game, or you're talking about the last shot in a game, or you're talking about a game 7, or you're talking about anything that indicates clutch. You simply can't pick LeBron over Larry Bird because you can pick almost no one in NBA history over Larry Bird.
Facts.
Because he was a marksman of the highest order. When it was money time, you knew where the ball was going, and you also knew there was little to nothing that you could do about it. It was just a matter of whether or not Larry Bird was going to make it or miss it. It was not a matter of what he was going to put himself in position to do or what he was going to be capable of doing, because he was that big time. He was Larry Bird. I can't deny that.
We take a quick look at those stats, the age 30 stats between Larry Bird, LeBron James. Larry Bird got him by 3 points in overall average scoring. 3 rebounds a game he's got him by, which is pretty significant. Got him slightly in assists, which surprised me. Field goal percentage is substantial, 52.3 to 48.8. And then finally, that was another year. Larry Bird at 91% led the league in free throw percentage.
You talk about more possessions, more three-point shots, more points, and you're going to have greater stats. So it's stats a little bit on steroids.
Can we even make a fair comparison of two players from completely different eras? While Bird was doing the mullet, LeBron was doing the headband.
And he loads up the stat sheet like we've never seen before. And part of the loading up the stat sheet is basketball's played differently than it's ever been played before.
What you also have to consider, Skip, is that Larry Bird deserves even more credit when you look at those numbers because the game was played considerably tougher then. It was more physical. You can get up in people. You know, you had the bad boys and everybody else still in the game and being very, very relevant. We all know the game of professional basketball in the NBA is called soft as putty right now. You pass gas, you'll get called for a foul. Yeah. You touch somebody's fingernails, you might get ejected.
I agree.
I mean, it's unbelievable. So the fact that back then it being so tougher and Larry Bird having the quality of teammates that he had, in McHale and Dennis Johnson and others, to sit there and put up those kind of numbers is another testament to his greatness because he was playing in a time where they did not mind sharing the wealth. We know how unselfish he was about sharing the wealth.
Flick it or tap it or bounce it to a teammate without even catching it.
Bounce, Bird. Nice tip to McHale. Pretty as you ever want to see.
Pass to Bird. Behind the back to Bird.
And yet he was still able to register those kind of numbers. So Larry Bird deserves a whole lot of credit for that.
I agree with you. I'm guessing that right now about 80% of our viewing audience does not agree with either one of us.
Well, all that means is that they...
Bro, but I get it, though. But, you know, Skip, they're not supposed to agree with us. They never going to agree with us because in their mind, LeBron James can do no wrong. They think he's the greatest to ever do it. LeBron James is a great specimen. He's the greatest, probably one of the greatest nowadays players. He plays today's game very well, but to put him in an era where the game is played differently, I think the only person who would have a problem is LeBron James. Going back is harder than playing forward. I want you to hear me. Going back is way harder than playing forward. think about it. Even with your jobs, whatever you do as a job, do you really want to be back in the the 80s cutting meat without a bandsaw? You feel what I'm saying? No chain gloves or whatever the heck they didn't use, and you lose a finger. Now you got everything, all these bandsaws who got the, if the light touches your finger in a certain way, it stops the bandsaw completely. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it's a lot harder back then than it was to be here now. So they're not going to agree with us because they kids. Do we really need kids to agree with us?
They don't know anybody.
They don't know.
Because we're giving them facts. I would love to pick LeBron if he deserved it, but I don't think he deserves it over Bird, over the Larry Legend that we watched in terms of what I told you, those 45 minutes, an 82-game schedule. He deserves it in that level, but in terms of clutch, money time, there's no contest. He's not even in Larry Bird's class.
What the heck? Oh, I thought the video was. I was like, what the heck?
G. Miller, the push off on Michael Jordan, going over the left shoulder for three.
When the Pacers hit the shot, and Bird just sat there and did not move.
The whole world is going crazy. They pan the camera to Larry Bird.
He didn't even move.
Standing there like he has ice water in his veins.
So you know what I'm talking about. What is that? He's not even human. I've never seen anything like that in my life. He didn't even blink.
Because he been there so many times. It ain't nothing. It's nothing. Larry like, bruh, come on, man. You left him too much time on the fucking clock, Reggie. You left him too much time on the clock. That's what Larry Bird was thinking. You left him too much time on the clock, Reggie.
Talk about calm under pressure, right? And that's the way he was as a player.
He doesn't even blink. I mean, did he ever get excited? Did you ever hear him yell?
Yes, he got excited, absolutely. But we treated Larry Bird like E.F. Hutton. When he talked, people listened. He didn't say too much, but when he did, he had our attention.
Larry Joe Bird beat every single last real nigga in his era. Everybody. Nobody else can say it. Not Magic, not Kareem, not MJ. Nobody can say that they beat every single last real nigga in their era. Bird did that. He beat everybody in the 80s, nigga. Can't nobody say that. He beat Dr. J. He beat Moses. He beat Magic, Kareem, Worthy. He beat Isaiah Thomas, Dumars, Rodman. He beat Adrian Deadly. Larry Bird cooked this nigga Rodman so bad. He cooked the nigga so bad. The nigga Rodman said, only reason Bird get that much hype is because he white. You know what that sound like to me? That sound like the nigga Rodman was so salty he got cooked by Bird that he was like, hey man, only reason y'all boosting him is because he white. He beat, how many, bro, you know how many niggas Bird beat, bro? Can't nobody say that MJ didn't beat Bird. MJ didn't even get a game. Not one, bro. Not one. God in tennis shoes. The GOAT. That's my man, but he swept him. And you know what sweep means? That means, I think he beat him in Boston, and then he went to Chicago. See, my thing with him beating Jordan is, damn, Jordan, you couldn't get one?
Yeah.
You feel me? Jordan couldn't even get one. Magic never beat Jordan. You feel me? When you really, like, line it up, like, Kareem never beat Michael. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can say that they beat everybody. And Bird is the nigga to actually walk in the room and say, bro, look out. I beat you. I swept you. You supposed to be the GOAT, bro. I swept you twice. Oh, I forgot to tell you. He swept him again in 87. 87. Young, yeah, look out, Youngs. In 87, he swept him. Yeah. LeBron fans, y'all gonna hate me.
All right, man. So if you guys did enjoy this video, man, make sure y'all leave a like, subscribe to this channel, turn your notifications on. I always love watching this Larry Bird content. And the ultimate thing to do is make sure these LeBron fans know that there's no way humanly possible that they man could ever surpass Larry Bird. And if he can't beat Larry Bird, he can't beat Magic. And if he can't beat Magic, he can't beat MJ. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. But, man, thank y'all guys for checking out this video. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Peace.